With each new day, there are new possibilities. So yesterday I read this inspiring article in The Root about how 7 cities in America elected their first African American mayors. And in my last video, I talked about how Charlotte elected their first African American woman mayor. And now I'm going to talk about the other first that were elected on Tuesday. And I'm going to talk about the significance of this and what we can learn from this and what we need to be doing from here on out. Now, the first one is Jonathan McCollar. This brother was elected the first African American mayor of Statesboro, Georgia. The next one is the brother Wilmot Collins. He's the first African American mayor since 1873. He's the mayor-elect of Helena, Montana. And he's also the first African American mayor elected in the entire state, from what I understand. The next one is Melvin Carter. He's the first African American mayor elected in St. Paul, Minnesota. And then we have the sister Mary Parham. She's the first African American mayor elected in Milledgeville, Georgia. And then we have Brendon Barber. He's the first African American elected mayor in Georgetown, South Carolina. And then finally we have the brother Booker Gainor, first African American elected mayor in Cairo, Georgia. So these are major developments, things that need to be discussed, and attention needs to be drawn to these first. Every time a black person is the first person to do something that is of significance, I will discuss that on this channel. These elections stress the importance of voting. This is something that we can learn from this, that our votes matter, our votes are important, our people died so that we could have the right to vote. And you would think in 2017, we still would not be talking about the first African American mayors elected in various cities. So that's the first thing, the importance of the vote, how much our vote actually matters. In one of these elections, the sister Mary Parham won by only 6 votes. That is a reminder how important every single vote is. That is a reminder of how important it is for us to, instead of complaining about the politicians, instead of complaining about the conditions in our community, we need to get out there and make a difference by running candidates who support the issues that are of importance to the black community. And we need to stand behind those candidates. And if we don't see candidates out there that are taking the positions that we think that they should take, if we don't see candidates out there with bold and fresh ideas, candidates that are independent and strong, then we need to be the ones to run for office. We need to be the candidates that we want to see in these campaigns and in these elections. Now, it's great that we have achieved these kinds of things where we have mayors in all these different cities. And, we have first African American governors, first African American senators in various places. And, that's great. And we should celebrate that moment. We should celebrate those accomplishments. But after we are done celebrating, it's our responsibility to hold these elected officials accountable and make sure that they don't forget the communities that help put them in office, that they don't forget that they should be loyal to the interests of their people, of African Americans, just like other groups of people are loyal to the interests of their constituents. You have a Jewish politician, he's going to be loyal to the interests of the Jewish community. You have a Latino politician, he's going to be loyal to the interests of his Latino community. And there's no reason why African American candidates shouldn't have a similar posture when it comes to being loyal to the interests of their own people, African Americans. Now, the great thing about this is that we've entered a stage like right now, in this modern era where we don't have to just fight the power, where we protest and march and all that kind of stuff. And there's still a place for that. As you will know, on my other channel, I talk about the importance of protests, but we can go beyond just protesting and fighting the power to actually seizing the power by running for office and taking over the helm of government and making the right decisions to create opportunities. And instead of just simply voting for candidates, we need to financially back candidates that we support, even if it's small donations. For the cost of going to a movie, you can make a contribution to a political campaign for candidates that you support. So I just wanted to, share this good news. 7 cities have elected their first African American mayors. And if there are other positive developments that you hear about in the community, any kind of accomplishments or good stories that you would like me to talk about, feel free to email me at newpossibilitiesblog@yahoo.com. So with that, I'll say peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I welcome your feedback and your comments.